Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Habitual. I hope everyone's having a wonderful, wonderful Wednesday. It is May 6th, which means it's a national holiday. I'm kidding, but it's my birthday today. I'm 26 years old, which is honestly really exciting. I thought I was going to be scared of 26 because I was scared of 25, but I don't know. I'm not really feeling that way. I'm like excited for it and ready for another year of life and of living and to have just another lap around the sun filled with laughter and joy and love and adventure. So here we are. Also, just have to shout out real quick. My hoodie is Habitual. My first ever habitual merch. I'm literally so excited about it. It was a birthday present from my boyfriend's sister and mom. Shout out Becky and Cass. I love you guys more than anything. And this was just like such a special gift. And I had to wear it for this episode because obviously, are you kidding? It's perfect. They also made me a hat and it's like a running hat, so I can wear it when I run, which is really exciting. Anyways, thank you guys. Just had to do a quick little shout out because it's like just fucking awesome. And like, what? That's crazy. That's crazy. Okay. Let's get into today's episode. Without further ado, let's get into today's episode. I wanted to do 25 things I learned while 25. 25 things I learned at 25. That just doesn't seem right. During 25. 25 things that I've learned while I was 25. So just a list of things that I've learned in the past year of my life, because I feel like, holy shit, it was a big year for me. Like, I had a lot of really big realizations. I feel like 25 took all of these hypothetical ideas and things and beliefs that I had or wanted to have and like turned them into action and true embodiment. That's what I feel like happened in 25. And so I feel like I was able to like really, really get clear and understand how to be the best version of myself, what that means, what that looks like, what it takes. And I feel like because of that, it's just been like an incredibly transformative year, which is why I'm also so excited for 26 because I feel like 25, like, holy shit, so much happened. And I feel like I'm a completely different person than I was 365 days ago. And that is so rewarding feeling and also just really gives me that drive to just keep going and to build upon all of the things that I have started to build already. And I'm just very grateful to be here and to be 26 years old and enjoying my life and living what I consider to be a happy life and doing things that I love. And that is a huge accomplishment for me. And I feel like this past year has just really been one of integration and embodiment. So yeah, I just wanted to do a little bit of a reflecting exercise and write down some things that I feel like I've definitely learned and not just like, oh yeah, like that's like that makes sense. That kind of like learning, like I like through fucking action and I don't know, action and real life shit, like these things, like I now know I learned my lesson, whether it was easy, whether it was hard, whether it came at me, whether I wanted to learn it or I didn't, like these are the things that I feel like I really can walk into 26 holding these very closely to my heart and very as like pillars and staples in my identity, in my morals and my values, and in the person. I'm going to reframe that. Not pillars or staples. These things, these 25 things are the foundation. Like I had all these ideas of what I wanted to do and what I want my life to be like and what I want to be like. And 25 was the laying of the foundation. It was like the figuring. I had all these things, and this was the like I'm building the base, I'm mixing the concrete, and I'm pouring the concrete, and I'm letting it sit, and I'm letting it, like that for my life, like literally for the rest of my life. I feel like I now have a very, very unshakable foundation that will allow me to continue to enjoy being alive, to continue to enjoy living, continue to be the person that I want to be and live the life that I want to. And so these 25 things are all a different type of sand in the concrete. No, I don't know. I can't think of a good enough analogy, but like these 25 things I feel like are that foundation summed up. And this is what I know that I can build upon and what I can always fall back on. Like, even if, whatever I build upon this foundation at some point ever, like eventually crumbles and falls, that's okay. Because my foundation will always remain unshakable, grounded, and supporting me and being supportive of my life and who I am. And I feel like, yeah, these are the 25 things that can really be described as my foundation for my life. And it only took me 25 years to get there. No. But, okay. I already said that without further ado, but let's get into it. I'm going to read each one and then I'm just going to give a little bit of a spiel, a little like what I meant by that, for each one. So I don't think it should take too long, but yeah. Okay. Number 1, courage will always be rewarded. Courage was my word for 2026. And I feel like the past 5 months, I have taken that very seriously and tried to implement courage and adding being courageous to my repertoire, to my self-identity. And I have always been rewarded in the things that I have been courageous about or for. For example, like starting a podcast that and sharing stories and myself online was really scary and took a lot of courage for me to do, and still takes a lot of courage for me to do each week and each time I post something, and I have always been rewarded for it. And what I mean by that is not just necessarily being rewarded with something physical or being rewarded in terms of like success or anything like that. I'm rewarded in the sense that I prove to myself continuously that I can do it scared, that even though I'm scared, fear does not affect my capabilities whatsoever. And I've learned to consistently push past the fear of doing something. And that has always been something that's like kept me in my comfort zone. And it's just been something that's been a mental thing that's been really hard for me is to overcome and really embodying and integrating courage into my life. I am rewarded every single time I do it because I'm always proving to myself that I can do things despite the fear, and I can do them. I can do scary things, basically. And every time I do that and prove that to myself, I feel like I'm being rewarded. And number 2, we had a whole episode about this, but discipline is the sexiest thing you can do. The sexiest thing you can have. We talked about this in that episode, but I feel like I really did not have much discipline in my life leading up to 25, or self-discipline at least. And this year, like, I embodied that shit and I held myself accountable. And it has led me to this path of being the best version of myself that I can possibly be. And similarly to number 1, but like the discomfort of self-discipline is always rewarded. And the reward is always worth it. Always. Number 3, the days will pass regardless. Like, the days will pass regardless. The time will pass regardless. Instead of taking a passive seat in life and waiting for things to come to me, have taken the initiative to start making things happen for me. And I have taken more of an active seat in my life, because time is going to pass by regardless. Time's going to pass by regardless. Why not do the things that I want to do? Why not start a podcast and try and figure out what that means for me and how I can express myself creatively, because the time's going to pass regardless. It doesn't matter if it takes a year or 2 years to become or to see any sort of like external validation for it, because that 2 years is going to pass regardless. So might as well do it now. In a similar vein, number 4, no dream is too big. I refuse to acknowledge a limit in my dreaming. I refuse to acknowledge parameters on my hopes and my goals for myself, on what I want out of life. I genuinely do not think that any dream that I have or that anyone has is too big. And I do think that they will all come true. So I've just had enough of letting society or past learned beliefs or systemic beliefs, family beliefs, like any of those, anything that is limiting or labeled as like realistic or anything like that. It takes the whimsy out of life for me personally. So I decided this year and really like integrated the idea and the fact that no dream is too big for me. And that's how I operate and live my life now. Number 5 is, if you align your actions to your highest self, you'll be unstoppable. And for me, I think that's just my way of saying, like, I just started acting in line with how I wanted the person that I want to be and how that version of myself would act. I just started doing that without any sort of like wiggle room. Like, oh, I just don't feel like, no, I was holding myself accountable, using discipline, but just really emphasizing the power of action. And I feel like this year I learned so much about the power of just action and just taking those steps and showing up and being that person and doing the things that you said you were going to do and being the person that you said that you are going to be. The payoff is incredible, and it can really be like simplified into just that, like, to get what you want out of life and to be the person that you want to be, you just have to align your current actions with the actions of your dream version of yourself. it just, you can't think your way into stuff, I guess, is also the like inverse of that. Because I would do that. I would be like, well, if I like, oh, let me think about this, and let me, I'll write about this, and I'll say that I want to do these things, and I'll say it out loud. But like that actually doesn't mean anything unless you are taking action. Like real life, you got to make things happen. You need to make those moves to get real results and to also get them quickly. Yeah. The actions that you do also enforce your brain. It enforces your belief about yourself. And so when you change your actions are then telling your brain, oh, this is the type of person that you are. You're the type of person who does XYZ. And then you do those things. And then your brain's like, oh, yeah, that's exactly who you are. You're someone who does XYZ. And then it just like creates like a positive like loop of just, and you'll be unstoppable, basically. Also, I love sparkling water. And this one from Trader Joe's is so freaking good. It's flavored with lemon and ginger juice. So they only sell them in 4-packs, like not their 12-packs like normal, but it's so good. Number 6 is take every opportunity to celebrate others. This is a huge one for me because I feel like, well, one, I love any reason to celebrate, but also I just think it's important, and it says a lot about how you show up as a person and who you are. It says a lot about who you are as a person, how you show up. And showing up for people that you love and celebrating all of their wins, no matter how big or small, is just, no matter what's going on in your life, if you're going through something or you're feeling down, or maybe you're just like having a hard time in life, but your friend, family member has something exciting happen for them. Like maybe they get a promotion or, yeah, like a raise or something like that. Don't ever let the way that you feel about yourself or the way that you feel about life in general in that moment make you be a shitty friend, because that's what happens. That's what happens. I feel like I've been also like on the receiving end of that. Like I have had moments where like I feel like the people in my life, not the people in my life, like a person or something like, doesn't take the opportunity to celebrate my successes or one of my wins. And I just feel like it is a really, really hard feeling and it really sucks. And I just feel like that is a very simple way to show up consistently and to be an amazing person and an amazing friend, is to take every single opportunity that you can to celebrate others. And I also try and do this to the extreme as well. So like, even when someone's like, oh, I don't really like, it's not that big of a deal, I try my hardest to make it a big deal, or make them at least like realize that I think that it's a big deal. And I don't know, I feel like it also has helped me like open my heart and be vulnerable with people and tell them when I'm proud of them. No one can hear I'm proud of you too much. It's just not possible. And I feel like sometimes it can be hard to be vulnerable and, I guess, like intimate with the people that you love. But I think that through taking every opportunity to celebrate someone that you love, you can take every opportunity to also, all of those opportunities to tell them how much you love them, how much you're proud of them, and to express how you feel, so that they're never left wondering how you feel about them. Because I think that that's one of the most important things in life, is to tell people how you feel, even if it's hard and even if it's uncomfortable for you. I think that it's necessary. Okay, moving on. Wow. Okay, maybe I should like rapid fire some of these. Number 7, doing one thing that makes you happy each day is how you live a happy life. That's pretty self-explanatory. My pleasure list, I've talked about that. I mean, If you're having a bad day, just go do something that you know is gonna make you happy, and usually, always, it will make you happy. You also do have to be open to letting it make you happy. Like, you gotta be like, "This is gonna put me in a good mood," no matter how bad your mood is. Like, you can't be like, "Ugh, I guess I'll do it, but I just, like, want to be upset." If you wanna be upset, that's fine, but you just gotta be honest with yourself on that one. But anyways, 8, it's never too late. It is literally never too late for anything. Any life decision, any change in direction, change in career, change in the person that you wanna be, it is never too late. It is never too late. I decided I wanted to be a runner, like, a month, 2 months ago, and I just started. I was just like, "Okay." Aligned my actions and became a runner. Now I consider myself a runner because it's literally never too late. It's never too late to be a better person. It's never too late to do things the right way. It's never too late to apologize for something. It's never too late for anything, ever. Okay. Number 9, we have free will for a reason. Exercise it more. Yeah, I feel like this year I've really been trying to like exercise my free will more because kind of goes hand in hand with like I refuse for there to be like limits around things, and I refuse to live in a world that has like that I abide to these false narratives and false restraints and guidelines. Like I can actually do whatever I want. Like if I wanted to, I could like buy a plane ticket and go somewhere tomorrow. And that's an extreme, but like I can do whatever I want. Exercise it more, basically. Okay, my intuition is always right. My intuition is literally always right, and I've known this for years, but this is another one where it's like I was able to, like, seriously embody and, like, understand this at, like, a completely different level this year. Like, my intuition is always right, and I trust it every time, and I feel like I had a really hard time understanding what was my intuition and what was, like, fear or anxiety, and the more that I spend time creating and being intentional and having intentional rest periods, like, I am able to tell, and I feel like the more that I just listen to my body, which is also on here, I don't know what number it is, but the more I realize, like, I can hear my intuition. It's always a feeling, and it's always a feeling when I go against it. Like, I know, and I think also, I mean, a huge part of that also is probably just being sober and no longer smoking weed or being in altered states. Besides, obviously, I will drink sometimes, but I think that that has been a huge, huge thing in clearing out and allowing me to like really listen to like what my intuition is telling me. Because for the most part, I have pretty clear energy. It's not like muddled or altered. That was number 10. Okay. Number 11, small steps lead to big outcomes. Baby steps, baby steps, baby steps, baby steps, baby steps. Holy shit. Have I not learned? Like, the power of just making a small step is crazy. It's crazy. Like, I have been so, I've had so many ideas and so many thoughts and so many things like running through my mind for like so many years now. I'm like, oh, I could do this. I could do this. I could be this person. I could do this, like XYZ, this, that, the third, all the things. But I would just think of it and I would think of it as like, but I would have to do if I ever wanted to be successful, or I would have to do this and then this and then this and then what if this happened? Like, and I would get so in my head that I never even made a step, not even a smallest step. And this year I like just through a lot of things that I've been talking about and I probably will continue to talk about, I have just realized how monumental a small step is. One small step is bigger. One small step for mankind. Wait, is that what it is? For man. One something for mankind. I don't know. Whatever. It was fake anyways. No, I'm just joking. What was I saying? Oh, yes, one small step. So important. Doing one thing, like just making that first little tiny step is better than literally thinking about doing it or thinking about this or thinking about that and then never doing it. Just fucking do it. Even if it's not good, make it exist first, make it better later. Make it exist first. Take that small step first and ginormous life, just ginormous shifts will start to happen because it just leads to bigger and bigger outcomes. Number 12, releasing shame is life-changing. I could talk about this in an entire episode, but I just decided I don't want to feel ashamed for anything. So I've done a lot of work this year around releasing shame for any number of things. And when you really work with that and work towards releasing shame, it is just, it's life-changing. It is life-changing. And especially if you are a woman and especially around being seen, talking about pleasure, experiencing pleasure, things from your childhood. Like it's just, there's just so many things that I realized, like my negative, like I would get in like OCD loops or like anxiety attacks, and they were usually always like, well, why did I feel that way? Oh, because like of this, because of these things and these reasons, or I said this. Well, why does that make me feel that way? Oh, because, and it would always go back, and the root was always shame. I had felt shame for whatever, and it, like as a child or whatever, and it was just always being brought up to the surface. Most of the times that I was like having a hard time with who I was or how I acted in something or something similar, it would just always was, I could always pinpoint it back to shame. And so working on like really releasing the shame that I have held on to for most of my life has just been life-changing. And yeah, because like what a shitty feeling, and I don't want to feel that way. Do you want to feel ashamed? Do you want to have shame? Like, no, it sucks. No one wants to feel that way. And it's usually always misplaced or because of, just things from childhood. And so that's been something that's been huge for me that I've learned this year. 13, you can always make it simple. You can always make it simple, no matter what it is. Oh, it's so broad. But like seriously, you can always make it simple, no matter what that means to you, no matter what the situation is. There's always a way to make it simple. And for me, I think that can also, I think of it also in terms of like actions. Like I could spend hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of my life thinking and putting myself into a spiral and being like a thought spiral and being like, oh God, like, if this, then this, what if I did this and then this happens, or I said this, or like, like all these things. Turns out when you just like literally tell your brain like, okay, here's the situation. What's the first thing that I can do? What's the first action I can take? And then you do it. It like, it's crazy. I don't know. It's changed my life. And you can always make it simple, and it can always be distilled down to like one thing, the first action that you should take. You can always make it simple. Everything. Embracing cringe is freedom. Yeah. I love being cringy. I literally don't give a shit. And I used to like try, like I would like not care sometimes. And I feel like this year I just really don't give a shit. Like I actually give no fucks if someone thinks that what I'm doing is cringy, as long as I'm having fun. Like if I'm in public and I'm doing something that makes me laugh or makes like the people that I'm with laugh or adds to me having a good time, I could give less of a fuck. Genuinely. Couldn't give less of a fuck. If someone was like, oh my God, that's so cringe. I really don't care. I scream the lyrics to pop music in my car by myself at like literally the highest possible volume that I can reach while dancing like a maniac, I'm sure people will be like, what the fuck? I don't care. I literally don't care. I have so much fun. And if you think it's cringe, I just don't care. I just don't care. And it's so freeing to be like, oh, like just lean into it. What? Because once you come over that little hill, the cringe hill, and you're just like, fuck, oh my God, this is so cringy. And then once you start doing it and then don't care, it's like, I just like don't give a shit. Like to be cringe is to be free. And I also don't care if any of that sounds like so like millennial or what. I don't know. I don't really know. But something that I've just learned, and I embrace the cringe and I lean into it. And guess what? My life is better because of it. And honestly, if you can't be cringy and you can't do that, or you're too worried about what other people think of you, I genuinely feel sorry for you, because that's just a really shitty way to live your life, to be honest. And I hope that maybe you can let loose a little bit and have more fun in your life. Okay. Number 15. I'm always worth it. I am always worth it. For me, to myself, I think that I'm always worth it. How I feel is always going to be worth it to me. I think of myself as like I am worthy of everything that I want. I am worthy of the best possible treatment of others. I am worthy of love. I am worthy of joy. I am worthy of abundance. I am worthy of making money. I am worthy of having every single thing that I've ever wanted in life. I will always be worthy, and I am always worth it. Always. No matter what. In all capacity. And I genuinely wholeheartedly believe that. And again, okay, that's something that I've like tried to be like tell myself like I'm always worth it. But like this year, like no. Like there's no I embodied that shit. That shit is ingrained in here. That is a core belief for me because of the actions that I have taken this year. I have instilled that belief and proven to my brain, because I would say it before me like, no, like I'm worth it. Like I'm always going to be worth it. But then I wouldn't do shit to prove it. Like I wouldn't act on that and prove it to myself that I actually believed that way. Because the actions that I was taking was not supportive of that. So my brain was like, well, you say that, but then you don't really treat yourself that way. And through all the ways and actions that I've taken and ways that I've treated myself this year, it has become a core belief. And it's not even something that I question at all anymore. I know that I am worth it. I'm always worth it. And I'm worthy of every good feeling and every good thing in life. And I know that for a fact. 16, the power of an admin. Number 16, the power of an admin hour. Usually on Mondays for like 1 hour. If it takes an hour, I have been like realizing how easy it is. I just struggle with procrastination in tasks without urgency, and just taking like not even an hour, but like 20 minutes to be like, I'm going to call the dentist and I'm going to call the doctor and I'm going to make an appointment and I'm going to do this thing that I need to do. Yeah, don't underestimate it. Put it in your calendar, do it. It's just been changed my life. This year, because I never did that. It would take me like something would have to be like seriously really wrong for me to go out of my way and call places and make appointments. Number 17, my life will always be more interesting than what I see on social media. Yeah. This one was something that I mean, I've always kind of felt this way, but I feel like recently I've really been able to integrate that belief, because I actually do now have a life. Well, not that my life before wasn't interesting, but like I've got shit going for me. Like I have so many hobbies. Like I used to not have any hobbies. My hobbies used to be smoking weed and watching TV. or smoking weed and scrolling on my phone. And now I do things and I have hobbies that are like real hobbies that actually are give me joy and are productive and are not just me rotting my fucking brain. And they're also hobbies that are still restful for anyone out there being like, but like that's where I turn my brain off. Like, okay, you can do that in 1,000 other ways that are better for you. But my life will always be more interesting than anything that I see on social media or any time that I spend on social media. I've just got more important shit going on. More interesting things are happening to me and things that I can do. So, like, why would I spend my time scrolling when my life is just gives me so much more to think about, so much more to do, so much more interest, so much more reward because it's like my life. I don't anyways, all of the things. But yeah, my life will always be more interesting than anything that I see on social media. So that's a big one. 18. The more you look for reasons to fall in love with everything around you, the more reasons you'll find. I've talked about this a lot, but this year I feel like I've watched myself exhibit this very well and practice it so many times that recently it has felt like complete second nature to just always turn a negative thought into a positive one, to always look for the beauty and to always look for reasons to be in love with my life and be grateful for everything that I have. And it used to be something that I would have to try really hard at. And now I've just been reflecting and watching myself do it naturally every time. And that's fucking awesome and is like the most rewarding thing ever because my quality of life is infinitely better due to that. So, love that. 19. Female friendships are the backbone of community and sense of belonging for me. As I hate saying female, I don't know why I wrote it like that. But the friendships that I have with other women are genuinely the backbone of my sense of belonging and it really is like that is my community. And that is how I feel like I'm a part of my community and like have built my community is through my friendships, my long lasting friendships with other women. And something I've always known and always like really resonated with and known intrinsically. But I feel like this year I have spent so much time with the women in my life and really tending to those relationships and making them even stronger. And it's just the most rewarding thing ever. And the relationships with the women in my life is truly the reason why I feel like I do have a sense of belonging in this world and in this community. Number 20, my body will always know first. I used to have a hard time with this one. But again, because I think of just different substances like drinking and smoking weed and always kind of being in an altered state. I felt like I could never really trust my body because, I mean, if you've been high, you know that that's like weird and your body feels weird and marijuana makes you feel things like, oh, my heartbeat's racing or I feel like I can't breathe or like, I don't know, just different things like that I think really sever that connection between like your mind and your body and your spirit. And this year, I feel like also with prioritizing movement and exercise, and like expelling kind of that, like burning off the extra energy, I have been able to really understand and tune into what my body is trying to tell me. And there's no doubt in my mind that my body will always know first every time. It's also probably because I have a sacral authority and I'm a generator in human design. So like I'm supposed to make my decisions through like a gut feeling of like yes or no. And I feel like I have been able to live in alignment with that and really embody that this year to a point where it's so much easier for me to make decisions now. Like things that I used to overthink 1,000 bajillion times, I just like know intrinsically because I'm like, my body will be like, yes, or my body will be like, no. And for the first time in forever, I'm able to actually hear it and understand what it means when it says that. So that's been really, 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 really wonderful and an amazing thing that I have learned this year. Similarly, 21 is time spent moving is time well spent. Always. I have a lot of excess energy and adding movement and prioritizing movement into my life, which is something that I started at the beginning of last year, of like the calendar year, but really, really got into it specifically with like weightlifting and going to the gym and cardio was like, yeah, in April. It's like right before I turned 25. So has been an entire year of me prioritizing movement. Anyways, time spent moving is time well spent. Always. It's never wasted. It's always well spent. And I've never regretted spending time moving my body. Ever. 22. Sometimes most spiritual thing you can do is have fun. Yeah. Oh, this one's like a loaded one because I feel like I could really go and like launch into my experience and journey with spirituality, but we don't have time for that, so I'm not going to. But I feel like I've really integrated the belief that I am a soul here in a human body to have a human experience. I am not a human body trying to have a spiritual experience. I'm here to enjoy my life, to enjoy and dance in the pleasure of being a human and to have fun during my time on earth. And the most spiritual thing you can do is have fun. I think that's how you can be connected to source and connected to yourself in a way that sometimes you just won't be able to get through meditating or tarot or any other thing that you could deem spiritual. Like, I just feel like sometimes that's when the closest that I feel to my spirituality is when I'm having fun. And I feel like I was able to really integrate that belief this year. 23. My relationship with myself directly influences every other relationship that I have. Yeah. Relationship with myself directly influences every other relationship I have. This is why it is so important to invest in yourself, to do the work, to go through uncomfortable changes, to make being the best version of yourself your top priority. Because if I don't have a good relationship with myself, then I cannot show up the way that I want to for others. And the way that I show up for others is the most important thing in my life. Second to how I show up for myself. But for the longest time, I just wanted to show up for others without ever showing up for myself. And it doesn't work that way. It leads to all kinds of things like burnout, resentment, also just not being able to be the person that I want to be and not being able to show up in the ways that I want to, and then being frustrated with myself for not being able to do that. But when you work on yourself and you prioritize your relationship with yourself, because your relationship with yourself is the one constant in life. Death, taxes, and you and your relationship with you. Those are the things you cannot escape in this human experience. And so I feel like I, again, have like had known this and understood the importance of that, but I didn't really get it and live it and like live in that truth until this year. And I feel like because of it, I feel like I've been able to be a better partner. I've been able to be a better friend, a better daughter, a better sister. And I am consistently showing up as the person that I want to. And that's like one of the best feelings in the entire world because, again, like I said, for me, my relationships are the most important thing in the world to me. And the people in my life are the most important thing in the world to me. There's nothing more important. So learning to be there for myself and nurture the relationship that I have with myself so that I can continue to nurture my relationships with others. Yeah, that has been a big one this year. And I've also loved it. It's been just made my life better. Okay, 24. My interests are worth investing in. I feel like I guess didn't really have a ton of interests because my interests used to just be hanging out with my friends and I don't know. This is like also like that is like years ago. Like I have had many interests for like several years now. But again, this year I really realized like, and they're worth things that bring me joy are worth putting money into. And that was a hard one for me. And I think that's just based on like, like money and the concept of money and how I was raised. And I really just came to terms with that this year. And I do invest in the things that make me happy and I do invest in my interests. And because of it, I'm rewarded through and through and through because I am always able to do things that I love. And the things that I love to do are much more accessible to me now that I have invested in them. And so it just makes happiness and pleasure and joy and satisfaction that much more available to me and accessible because I have invested in my interests this year. So that's been amazing. And drum roll, please. Okay. 25. The 25th thing that I have learned during 25 and really spent the year embodying and integrating. And I'm going to keep saying those words because I can't think of anything else that describes what I'm talking about better than those two words. The 25th thing is life is meant to be customized. Mic drop. What do I mean by that? I mean that the point of life is customizing it. This is the whole point. We're supposed to customize our experience to how we want it, to the outcomes that we want to have, to the things that we want to feel, to the ways that we want to live. We are supposed to customize. And I think that the word customization and customize is so much more accurate and so much better than people saying optimize. No, sorry, fuck that. Optimize your morning routine. Optimize your blah, blah. No, wrong. I just don't agree. I think that that is not the right word. I don't think that we need to optimize. I don't think that it needs to be what's the most efficient thing that we can do and how can we efficiently use. Sometimes, yeah, efficiency is good and that can be part of it. But customize has the focus on you, on like whatever it is that you're looking for, which does not have to be efficiency, which is what optimization implies. Customization is for pleasure, is for joy, is for connectedness, intimacy, vulnerability, all of these things that you want maybe you don't even want to, but customizing based on what you want to experience, what you want to feel. It does not matter if it's what's expected. It doesn't matter if that's what society thinks that you should do. It does not matter if that's the belief that everyone else that you know has. Like, life is meant to be customized. It is meant to be changed and adapted to fit how you want it to be and what works best for you and how you can get to that point of it being the way that you want it to be and feeling the way that you want to feel. That's the point of life. It's meant to be that. It's meant to be customized. And you have the power to customize your life through your habits, through your beliefs, through your actions, through how you treat yourself, through how you treat others. All of these things play into the customization of your life. And it's all right there and ready and accessible and easy. Sometimes easy, sometimes not easy, but it's there. It is an option always to customize your life. And not is it an option, but it should be the only option. Everyone should customize their lives. And if that's doing things that no one that you know is doing, whatever. Getting over that, getting over the fear of maybe doing something that you haven't seen done before. It can also be getting over the fear of doing something that's different from the people that you know. Getting over any fear of being different. Like, fuck the status quo. Customize and live your life the way that you want to live it and do the things that you want to do, however you want to do them. And that is the point of being alive. And that's the point of life. And that's the point of being human. So, and what works for you probably isn't going to work for others. And what works for others probably isn't going to work for you. But figuring out what does and figuring out how to change that and how to make it align with what you want is just what I feel like I've been experiencing every day for the past year. For all of 25 was just me customizing my life and realizing that I had the power to customize my life and figuring out how to do that and figuring out the best ways to do that for myself and then seeing the rewards of me doing that. And I just have had the best year of my entire life. And like I said, built the foundation for what I know will be the rest of my life. I'm going to be able to build on this because of all of the work that I've put into myself this year and all the things that I have learned because I continuously pushed myself out of my comfort zone and was continuously uncomfortable. But I grew so much, and it's so rewarding, and it's so fun to transform, especially when you're transforming into the person that you want to be. And that concludes the 25 things that I learned at 25. And I've talked for a really long time, so I'm not going to I guess I'll briefly do daily delights. My daily delight is that I had a delicious breakfast. My boyfriend made me the yummiest breakfast he always does whenever he's home. And I appreciate him so much for that because usually I never put a lot of time into my breakfasts. And whenever he does, it just makes me feel loved and cared for, and it's just exciting to have a delicious, yummy breakfast when I don't normally have that. And another daily delight is I am wearing my new freaking hoodie that is awesome and amazing, and I'm obsessed with. Huge daily delight is my habitual hoodie. And then another daily delight is that I'm just still riding the high of having an amazing weekend celebrating my birthday with my best friends and doing some of my favorite things with my favorite people. And with that, I'm excited to see what 26 has in store. I'm so grateful to be here, to be celebrating another year and another birthday. And I'm so happy if you took the time today to celebrate with me. Okay, I'll see you next week. Love you.